Hey guys, good morning. My name is Carissa Tracy. I'm a pediatric physical therapist. I'm coming to you live, and I'm founder and owner at Referral Pediatric Therapy here in New Braunfels. This is kind of a spinoff of last night's live. So if you were with us last night, we were talking about babies and their head shape and when you would need a helmet and why it's okay, if recommended by a medical professional, to get a helmet. That it's protecting babies' brain and its ability to grow in a symmetrical, nice, open area inside that helmet. Now, what came to my attention this morning, it was a conversation with another colleague, Matthew, if you're watching. This live is inspired by our conversation because I thought it was super important, and I wanted to kind of spread it out to everybody. And what Matthew and I were kind of talking about is, gosh, it's not that every child needs a helmet. It's that confusion for parents between the 2 to 6 month mark. And so that's actually what I'm going to talk about today. So if you watch the other one, we were talking about the stigma with helmets and that it's not a bad thing. It's a medical intervention like anything else. And when warranted, is absolutely what your baby needs. Because if you're having medical professionals tell you, these are the deficits we're seeing, this is the intervention, is getting that helmet, then get it. I also posted some pictures of the brain and kind of all the different areas that are inside your brain and where they are and what they do. So on the back of the brain, the most affected with babies with flat spots, vision's kind of right here, and then down a little bit lower is the cerebellum part of your brain, which is balance and coordination. And then we talked about the sides of the brain have these two speech areas that talk back and forth to each other. And so speech development can be affected if you've got a flat spot on one side and it's kind of shifting one side or the other. So the main thing I wanted to talk with you guys about, what Matthew and I were saying is, gosh, early intervention really is best, because if those babies get in at that 2 month mark, the 3 month mark with a PT, they don't ever have to go down the helmet road, and that's true. So here's what I want to clarify. If your baby, if y'all know, if you're a new parent, you might not know, your well checks are going to be real close in the beginning for weight checks and things like that. And then once you hit the 2 month mark for your baby, that's a well check. Your next well check is at 4 months. Your next well check is at 6 months. So I would say in the conversation of babies and their head shape, that the 2 month well check and the 4 month well check are the most important for early intervention. Hey, Cardin, you're going to love this, okay? Because it does affect speech too, what we're talking about. So when you as a new parent, if you see any flat spots on your baby at the 2 month appointment, at your 2 month well check, there needs to be conversation with the doctor about going to see a PT. I don't want you to think your baby needs PT forever, but if your baby has a definitive flat spot that you can see with the naked eye at the 2 month well check, then most likely there is an underlying reason or an underlying positioning thing that keeps occurring that is causing that spot. And so, hey, oh my gosh, how's my favorite boy? You know who I'm talking about? I don't want to say his name because, anyway, but you know who you are. And then Letitia, you're here. So if y'all have questions, send them. We're talking about the importance of the 2 month well check. If you see a flat spot on your baby's head that you can see visually with your eye to the naked eye at the 2 month mark, please talk to your pediatrician about coming to see a PT that knows about that stuff, because I'm promising you guys, if you can get in with a PT during that 2 to 3 month kind of window, and that PT can go and assess your home, they can assess how you're carrying, how you're feeding, how you're playing, how they're positioned, their sleep environments, how they are in the car seat, how they are, and all those different things, you can change the habits before they continue. Now, if you see flattening at the 2 month appointment and you get the wait and see answer, you can, because you're the parent, you can decide that. But I am here to tell you, as a medical professional, as a pediatric physical therapist who has seen a lot of high-risk infant babies, 11 years here, that if you wait till the 4 month mark, that's right past rolling, right? And so if there's an underlying issue that the flat spot has occurred and there's an underlying thing going on, then from the 2 month to the 4 month, when they've now picked up a huge skill, which is rolling, now you've got an asymmetrical situation that has worsened, not only with their movement, but also with their head shape. So now when you're coming to see me at 4 months, I can still help you. We're still gonna go for it. We're still gonna start where you are and get your baby symmetrical. But you've just added like kind of a 2-month amount of time. So I always tell people, would you rather wait and see yourself at home and have something get worse that then the PT has to kind of undo and reteach baby further? Or just go in and see the PT? Maybe you see us for a month. Maybe just see us 4 times, once a week, and we just like kind of nip it in the bud. If we are really great PTs, you need to look for this, parents. They need to be educating you, answering all of your questions, giving you roadmaps. I always give parents roadmaps. Here's the next developmental milestone. Here's the next thing you need to look for. Here's the red flags to watch out for. If you see this, you call me. You need to feel like, I got this, I understand because that therapist took the time and I really understand where I'm at. Okay? Now, if you wait and see at the 2-month and you go to the 4-month and you still have the flat spots and you're gonna wait and see till the 6-month, let me really caution you about that, because now in development, the 3 to 4 month rolling and then the 6-month is when they should sit alone. Now in the trajectory of development, you have now gotten yourself to the 6-month, which is the sitting. And what I was talking about with one of my colleagues, Matthew, is once that baby is up, as I say, like they can sit up and they can kind of move around on their belly, if those 2 things are in their play, which are good for unweighting the head, if those 2 things are in their daily play and you still have a flat spot, the likelihood that flat spot will hang around is higher. Does that make sense? Because you're already giving baby, you no longer have a baby who's flat all the time on their head. And you can start with working on sideline positions and getting them off that flat spot. But once the baby can roll over and baby's like looking around and they're kind of playing and weight shifting and they're even able to do sitting, they should have quite a lot of bit of time off of that head during their day. And so if the flat spot is still there at that 6-month mark when they are off of their head so much during the day, that really lets you know like, we might need some extra help to kind of show that skull where it needs to go. So I hope this is helpful, but my conversation with Matthew really is like, I need to lay that out better for families so they know. So if you want the advice of a pediatric PT, and this is a mama whose baby had torticollis. My oldest had torticollis as a baby. I noticed it in the 1st month, 2nd month when we're doing bath. He was always kind of looking at me the same way. I noticed breastfeeding was easy on one side, not on the other. He was breech in my belly, so he was upright in my belly, and so that's a cause for torticollis. So when he came out, he had an overstretched side and a tight side, and I noticed it right away. As mamas, you'll know, okay? And if you see it, don't wait and see. Go see a PT. If I wasn't a PT myself, I would have taken him in, but what I did is I did conservative care right from the beginning. 1st month, 2nd month, positioning recap. I taught my husband, I taught my in-laws, I taught my mother, I taught my father, anybody that's holding baby. I'm like, don't let him look this way all the time. Do both sides. You have to educate the village. Okay? And when you educate the village early on, by the time we got to my son's 4 month, he was starting to be symmetrical in the neck. And then I just knew, okay, at every phase, I'm going to watch him because he's going to want to be asymmetrical. When he sits, he likes to transition one way. We're going to push the other. When he crawls, he liked to transition over one hip. I made him do the other. Because I was a PT, I was able to really get in there. If you're not a PT, then just work with one because we're passionate. A lot of us are mamas ourselves. If you find a PT like me, I love this diagnosis. I love babies. I love any early intervention. And I had a child with it, and I was the mom and the PT. And I totally hear you and feel you. Your day is busy. I get it. But you've got to do early intervention. So that 2-month well check, if I can just scream it from the rooftops, the 2-month well check, if you see flat spots, just get PT for a month. Just do PT for a month. I guarantee you that PT will give you so much knowledge that you can avoid so much down the line. If you wait till the 4 month, you've now crossed into rolling. Hey, Belisa, you've now crossed into rolling. And then when you get a rolling asymmetrical preference, now you're pulling in vision and reaching, guys. And so now you're starting to dip into multiple developmental skills that you're asymmetrically creating. Okay, so I want you guys to feel confident. Don't feel like you're crazy if you have a 2-month-old with a flat spot and you're like, I want PT. Ask for it, because I promise if you see me in the 2 and 3 month window, by the time you get to your 4-month appointment, we've got symmetry, and we've got symmetry before you roll, before you sit, before you crawl, before you walk. All those things come way down the line. And if you've got symmetry early on, oh my gosh, you're in such a sweet spot. If you wait and see, and you wait and see, and you wait and see, what you're really doing when you wait and see is you're adding an asymmetry, You're adding skills that as the baby develops, they're just working with what they've got, and they're going to develop more and more and more. And then by the time you get in to see the PT, they have to unpack, go back, get that symmetry back. And it's totally possible. I get old referrals all the time, and parents are like, oh, I wish I could have found you earlier. And I'm like, me too. But the baby can still benefit. If you've got a baby and you're sitting there at home watching this, and your baby's 6 months old, 9 months old, and you're like, ugh, still go get the referral. We can help you. We are problem solvers. We are compassionate problem solvers. If you work in pediatrics, you love kids, you love people, okay? We will help you. There's no shame here. If you're seeing stuff in your baby, you know them best. You're the expert. So bring them to someone who knows what to do and help you, okay? Don't feel alone. Don't feel stuck. Don't feel like, I'm gonna wait and see because I don't really know how this is gonna turn out, and I'll just kind of wait and see. Because I'm telling you guys, development builds on development. Okay, so at the 2-month well check, if you see flat spots, refer for a PT eval. Ask your pediatrician, say, I'd really like to see a PT. Okay, if they say wait and see, you still as the parent can advocate, I'd really like to see a PT eval. If you do the PT eval and the PT's like, I really think you're fine, but you know what's really cool about just getting an eval, if that's all you get, I still spend the time with those families. I'm there for like an hour and a half. I will answer anything. I will look at all their positioning in their home. I will set them up and be like, don't do that. That is good. Ooh, use that. Hey, don't worry about that toy. That's gonna create that bad habit. Hey, watch for this. I give them the development packets to know what is coming. It's really worth your time, you guys, okay? I really encourage you guys to get in there in the 2-month, 3-month, 4-month. By the 4-month well check, you want symmetrical neck, because the very next thing coming is rolling and sitting, and that is the precursors to crawling and walking. And it's all connected. Okay? I hope this answers questions. Yes, because those big heads... Wait, Belisa says, yes, because those big heads lead the babies. Yeah. So actually, she's completely correct. Their heads are bigger proportionally. As an adult, we even out with our bodies, and our hips get larger. Am I right, ladies? And that's totally normal. But for a baby, the head is the biggest part for sure. And it is kind of unweighting them without their permission. Sometimes it kind of leads the train. And so if they've got asymmetries going on in the skull or in the muscles that hold up the head, she's absolutely right. It affects everything in an asymmetrical way, because they're going to compensate to do what they can do to move around and play. So I hope this helps. This is meant to be a guideline. At the 2-month mark, if you see issues, speak up for a PT referral and an eval. You really don't need it long term. It's just to get in there and prevent. Does that make sense? This is a preventative thing. I'm telling y'all, I've seen it time and time again, the wait and see. And by the time they get to us, they're sitting, they only catch themselves one way. They only get into crawling one way. And when we get the late referrals, like after they're already crawling with the kickstand leg out to the side like this, y'all know babies that instead of crawling with 2 knees like this, they've got 1 knee bent, and then they do like a kickstand leg out here and they crawl. Y'all seen that? That's the Torticollis crawl. When we get that, we're talking all kinds of asymmetries that have worked their way down the chain. And if I don't fix that pronto, you know what this baby does who crawls like this? When they stand up and walk, this foot turns out like that, because that's how they've been crawling. So trust me, PTs, we've got the eye. We can help you. We can be like, brrr. There's a huge assessment, a lot of skill that goes into that. And we can really be like, ooh, that's why they're doing it. See that thing? See that thing right there? See that thing? I always educate my families. I want them to know. Because once you know, you're like, oh. And then it's like you feel empowered. Like, I am going to help this baby. This is my love bug. I am going to help them. And you'll feel empowered as a parent, I promise. Y'all have any questions? It's so fun having everybody on. Yeah. Okay, so if y'all have questions, let me know. But basically, this is your timeline. 2 month, 4 month, 6 month. Those 3 well checks are so important. If you see something, speak up. Ask for a referral. Your timeline in therapy will be like this long if you get in early. When you wait, the longer you have to hang out and play with us. Okay? So get that early referral. Get that education early so you feel confident as a parent. Let us help you. All right? This is Carissa Tracy, Pediatric Physical Therapist from Pearl Pediatric Therapy. Dun, dun, dun. I'm not dressed in my scrubs today, but you know what I do have for you guys? Can y'all see my shirt? I just found this. Isn't this so me? Good vibes. All right, y'all have a great day, guys. Early referrals. Y'all get out there. Chat with your doctors, okay? Y'all be an advocate for your baby. And your doctor can advocate as well and give you some guidance, okay? You need a PDPT to help you. We're here.